It took my childhood away. It made me scared.
Yeah, I still think about it to this day.
2 Utah teenagers with autism say they're still feeling the emotional trauma from when they were repeatedly put in seclusionary timeout rooms in elementary school.
It's heartbreaking to see it as a teacher, as a principal. You know, this is not something that we're excited to do.
The State Board of Education says seclusion should be used only as a last resort when students pose a serious risk to themselves or others. But records show schools sometimes use the tactic in ways state rules don't allow.
What they did was wrong. They probably didn't know any better.
I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Taylor Stevens. We've previously told you about how some schools in the state put children in seclusion. Now we'll hear from 2 children who have experienced it firsthand.
It's a way to express yourself, and you can create your own worlds. And you can really be yourself, you know what I'm saying?
When he's done with the school day, 15-year-old Cody Brighter likes to come home and draw a comic series he calls Cartoon Land.
This guy is me. And this is actually the main character of Cartoon Land, actually. Him and his animal friends go on a bunch of adventures.
I think I like middle school more.
Fellow 9th grader Marcus Norton likes to unwind by watching TV or diving into history.
Because I like learning about the past.
Both boys went to elementary school at Mountain View in Brigham City, where each was repeatedly put in a small, seclusionary timeout room.
I have autism and a little bit of ADHD.
Their parents gave permission for the boys to sit down with us so they could share their experiences being put in isolation.
Do you know what a coat closet is? Imagine that small of a room.
And it was about like 7 to 8 foot tall.
It's probably the worst feeling ever. It's like you're just like, you can't get like a breath of air.
It was a pure white room and a gray door, a gray metal door with a big, like the size of a window, so they can still watch us and see what we're doing.
It's scary. You don't know what to do. Your adrenaline's going. Your heart's like beating really fast.
It was a nightmare. That's the simplest way I could say a nightmare.
The Box Elder School District declined a request from Fox 13 to tour a seclusion room. The images you see in this story are from other schools and provide a sense of how the rooms commonly look. Overall, Utah children were put in seclusion more than 1,300 times in the 2020-2021 school year. That's the most recent year numbers are available from the U.S. Department of Education, and it's almost certainly an undercount. Data shows most students put in seclusion have disabilities, like Cody and Marcus, and most were in elementary schools. The Utah State Board of Education's rules say seclusion should be used only in extreme circumstances.
The way it does happen, it's not for small reasons.
Kathleen Reeby is a state senator and elementary school teacher. She's worked in schools that use seclusion, and while she's never personally used it, she knows of colleagues who have, and believes it can be a better alternative to physical restraint in violent situations.
Kids will pick computers up, they'll rip wires off the wall, they'll pull things off that are bolted to the wall, they'll pick up desks, they'll bite people, they'll scratch people. It's a very unique situation, and when these things happen, it's kind of hard to imagine that this is coming out of the 3rd grader or 2nd grader or 5th grader.
Utah's rules prohibit students from being placed in seclusion for more than 30 minutes at a time and require educators to provide notice to parents and school administrators every time they use it. Teachers are also required to keep watch over a student the whole time.
There's a lot of documentation and a team that goes into having this conversation.
But in Cody's case, documentation from the school, which his parents provided Fox 13 News, shows seclusion wasn't always used in line with the state's strict guidelines. The Box Elder School District admits that handwritten notes from Cody's teachers show he was sometimes put in seclusion for behaviors that didn't rise to the level of imminent physical harm to himself or another person. In one case, for running out into the school hallway. In another, for spraying hand sanitizer and refusing to sit at his desk. In that instance, the teacher said Cody would have to finish his timeout the next morning. Cody acknowledges his behavior wasn't perfect, and documents show there were times he was put in seclusion for charging at a teacher or kicking.
Sometimes you gotta understand, sometimes it has to be done, but like sometimes, most of the time it happened there, it was unnecessary or overdone.
Some of the logs also show Cody was put in isolation for far longer than the 30 minutes the state allows. In one case, documents say he was put in self-containment for more than 3 hours, from a few minutes before 9 in the morning to a little after noon. On other days, Cody's teachers put him in seclusion repeatedly, records show.
That's where most of my anxiety about being in small confined spaces came from.
Marcus's family doesn't have the same level of documentation as Cody's does. But he and his parents also say they believe seclusion was used more as a punishment than a way to maintain safety.
They don't use the last resort because there's no one really watching them. Like the teachers, because they're adults.
That you feel like people didn't trust you if you said this wasn't fair?
Yeah. They think us were more untrustworthy because of our disability. That's what I feel like a lot.
In response to questions from Fox 13, Box Elder School District Superintendent Steve Carlson said, in part, that the teacher who put Cody in seclusion no longer works at the school. He also acknowledged that Cody was put in seclusionary timeout for reasons that did not comply with state guidelines and the district's own policies, and that the documents raise questions about whether the training we have provided in the past was effective. Since the time of these incidents several years ago, we have provided training to our staff regarding appropriate use of seclusionary timeout, Carlson continued, and intend to continue to train staff around the regulations on an ongoing basis.
I feel for my mom and my dad, really.
But for Cody and Marcus's parents, it all feels too little, too late. The damage to their children, they say, has already been done.
It plays in my head again and again, and I even have nightmares about this.
I do have nightmares.
I see the box, and I see the door, and I feel all the feelings at once I felt in the course of 2 years I went there. It just all comes crashing down on me again.
Every time I try to leave or just walk away, she'll grab me by the arms, hold me down with two other people to hold my legs, and she will hold my arms and drag me and put me in the thing and put me in the seclusionary, and I never went home for the day.
Now both boys say they want more oversight of seclusion to ensure it's used appropriately and other kids don't go through what they did.
Why can't we all just come together? They shouldn't have to lock up people just because they're different. That is what belongs to be God. I don't know what the ghost what I went through. It scared me as a child.
The Utah State Board of Education recently approved a few minor tweaks to the wording of its seclusionary timeout statute in an effort to provide more clarity to teachers who are using the technique. To learn more about those changes and to read the full statement from the Box Elder School District, you can visit our website online at fox13now.com. Reporting in Salt Lake, Taylor Stevens, Fox 13 News, Utah.